man, and you're thinking there, going, he's going through all the stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's easy for me, I suppose, because I've worked it and lived it for 30 years. So maybe if I just give you a very simple, very practical idea about the things that we do. You've heard us say work magic, and Owen has given you a kind of idea about what magic is. And as I said, one of the quotes that we always had from another, which was actually working with Coven, working magic is a Coven is like, or Wicca is a group religion for individuals. You know, that everybody brings something to it. They all have different ideas, different skills or whatever, and they come together to work as a group. The practicalities of it, as I said, the grounding, the casting of the circle, and as I said, for our point of view, we're up north, okay? I leave my house every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't get home till 9 o'clock at night. So therefore, if the group are meeting, it's generally on a Saturday evening, because that's what suits most people. Unfortunately, not every full moon falls on a Saturday, so therefore, you know, you've got to be practical, you've got to be a little bit, you know, have a bit of sense around that. So that means most people arrive at my place on a Friday, which means they arrive with me. So I have not seen the baby all week. I have to spend Fridays sorting out uniforms, getting whatever, doing the bedtime story, everything else. I'm hoping at that stage, by the time I get home, that himself has got the feast or the food and everything planned for the whole weekend, because, you know, my argument is I'm built for pleasure, not domestic stuff. You know, you do domestic stuff and I'll do all of that. So I'm only in the door, and other people then start arriving. And it's only a 3-bedroomed house. So you kind of, first in, you know, best dressed, they get the bedroom, or they get the spare bed, or they get wherever, or they sleep out in the wagon that we have outside. So these are just the practicalities of it, of getting people together to work, right? So then you're talking that you have to have the baby in bed, and then you have to have all of these people together and turn around and say, right, we're working the group tomorrow, what is it we want to do? Firstly, I need to get this place sorted. Now, 20, 30 years ago, it was grand when I was kind of working in Dublin and had working with a fairly well-established Coven, and a lot of it was a training college, and a lot of Coven, a lot of people would come up, and it was great. The place was always kind of spotless. The Coven kit was always shining. There was always biscuits. There was always something going on. That doesn't happen anymore. Those people, as I said, have real lives to contend with, as well as the magical stuff. So we do the Friday night. Hopefully Madam stays in bed till half 9, we turn around and we decide who wants to work which way and who's going to do what. And basically we start off with the casting of a circle, so an egg. We call them the quarters, which is north, south, east, west. Some people call it spirit, other people don't. And they're the things you have to negotiate. So you're talking about having 10 people from 10 different schools of practice. And as I said, I think one of the wind-ups that the group have is when we're setting up, you know, can somebody set up the altar? I'm Alexandrian trained, and I come in and I need to be able to know how the altar looks. But you've got 10 people who haven't worked in Alexandrian covens and have worked different ways, and I'm standing in front of the altar and oh God, look at what they've done, or the thing, it just doesn't, you know, I'm supposed to be able to put my hand down and know where I can find things, and when you put your hand down and somebody has an athame in the wrong place, or somebody's put a piece of jewellery there, or whatever, you know. So they're the practicalities of it, of me having to cop on that, yes, I might be Alexandrian trained, but all of these people aren't, and it's still in that altar, you know. It might not be my altar, and it might not be done right as far as I'm concerned, but it's an altar that everybody has kind of put their little bits into. Again, practicalities, if we're working outdoors, it's handy enough around candles, if we don't set fire to the fields and whatever. But as I said, we've already decided on Friday what we're going to do and plan, and we have a couple in the group, and I have to be honest, we'll turn around and say, right, if we're going to raise energy, which way to raise energy? Is it going to be through drumming? I like drumming. Chanting, I'm not mad about chanting, I like to dance. So there are different ways of raising energy. So again, it's all around negotiating and who's going to do what or what's going where and all of that. Then you have people, they say, well, raise energy, let's kind of give it to the universe or love and light, and I'm thinking, well, actually no, I need a new job, or actually no, I need something else, so I'm not giving all my energy there. So you can imagine, as you said, all these people getting it on. Circles cast, quarters are cast. my man is from completely different training and background to me, and he's a nightmare to work with. I can work very well with Owen, which I would have to say. You know, the magic we have when we're working together is very nice. When I'm working with him, it takes more negotiating with him than it does with everybody else, you know. Again, it's something, you know, he likes to stand and be the big brave man type of thing. We work for the purpose that we have discussed on a Friday and planned on a Friday. However, we're human, and you can be halfway through it and think, actually, I might have changed my mind, or I want to do something else, and that can happen. But we work together well enough that we can pick up on each other's energies and know what's going on, and am I losing it, you know? That's basically the way it works. Energy raised, if it's raised, blessing of food, blessing of wine. Then some people might have, other than being around at the talk, and Owen's very good at arts and crafts, and we have another arts and crafty people, and then we have fire dancing, and then we might have somebody who'll come in and make beautiful magical tools. And I'm kind of thinking, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I've been up since 6 o'clock the day before, I have to get up in another 4 hours for a babby, so, you know, can you just open the circle and let me go to bed and leave you to do whatever you need to do. We've got, you know, real world good stuff. It's not like the sweetie stuff you see, you know, on television and you read about or whatever. It's about being very practical about using whatever skills that you have, you know. Some of the witches I know, very good with their herbs. Other people can do tarot. We have one guy who just says, I don't even know why I'm in the Coven, because I don't read cards, I never have dreams, I wouldn't see myself as psychic at all, but I'm a bloody good fire starter. And that's what he does. As soon as he arrives, all he does is go around the garden and find him, and we just leave him to it, and he just builds fires, and that's what he does. That's his thing. But the beauty of him when you work in magic with him or when you're simple is the mischief and the giggle. You know you're going to have fun when he's there raising energy, whatever. But he will tell you, I can't, you know, don't have the psychic ability. You don't have to. It's not like that. So he's one of the other bit of crack, you know. Then we could have healthy debate between the two herbalists behind us, you know. So to a lot of, I suppose somebody looking in would turn around and say, it's just people surrounded by candles having a chat about what's happening or what they want to do or where they want to get out. It's as simple as that for us, and it's as practical as that. Again, the other thing is, whether I've disappeared off the bed or not, whoever's there is going to have to put things away, because there is nothing more, you know, fun than a 4-year-old coming down and picking up somebody's attainment, or a 4-year-old coming down and wanting to play with us. So you have to make sure, you know, that magical equipment is out of the way, especially if you have people there who don't practice magic or have a child there. So they're the practicalities of it for us. So it's the practicalities of feeding 10 people when they arrive at your home. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you've only a small table and you have to do, you know, you have vegetarians and then you have vegans and then you have your meat eaters and, you know, you have all of this, and it's all around just negotiating and knowing each other and knowing what's going on. And the beauty of it in our group is that the men tend to take over the kitchen, so it's lovely. You know, we women can go off and fix the world, and the men kind of decide to cook together. They do the man bonding over the range, which is nice. We also have the beauty, because we're right smack bang in the middle of the country, that we can go off and we go scrumping. Do you call it scrumping? Stealing apples. Stealing apples, scrumping. You know, we're surrounded by old orchards. We go off and we pick the fruit. We make our own chutneys. We make our own jams. We make our own, you know, that kind of thing. A couple of old graveyards. We go down and clean up the graveyards. We do bits and pieces like that. You know, so men might go off and put a few staffs. Some people might just go off and see if there's any empty houses worth looking at and if there's anything worth raiding. Not that they're burglars, but you know, the house is empty for over 30 years and nobody's been in there, and there's a basket hanging from the ceiling that you really, really want, and the window's open. You know that the gods are telling you that basket's for you if you just want to climb into the window, you know. You've got to be that practical about it. So as I said, they're the practicalities of work with the Coven. You talk about all these personalities, folks from different professions, from different walks of life, different ages, different training, all trying to get together and use their skills, use their magic to for whatever it is we've decided that we're going to do at the time. Get a lot of requests for love spells, which we don't tend to do. Definitely we get a lot of requests for fertility. Again, not something we tend to do. I tend not to, I'm kind of a bit superstitious about that. I'm trying to think, oh, jobs. We get people, can you get me a job? You know, can you do a job? And I say, not a problem. Have you sent out any CVs? You know, and I say, no. And do you expect one to fall into your lap? Like, you know, you're asking us to do a fertility spell. Are you going out jiggy-jiggy? Like, you're not having sex, then you're not going to get pregnant. There are certain things that people have to be very sensible about when they're looking for spells and looking for bits and pieces from it, you know. But the job one has come up a few times, and I'm not applying for jobs because if you're witches and you're any good, just that kind of thing. Trying to figure out what it is. Very rare because we keep to ourselves. A lot of people don't know. There is you know, there's quite a big circle, Wiccan circle in the Dublin area. Quite a few groups, quite a few covens around. I would know of them, and I would know quite a few of the people, but we just tend to stay with ourselves. I think I kind of did that many years ago, and you do get to a stage where you kind of either outgrow that, or it outgrows you, or you just want to move on and find something new, which is good, which is all part of the spiritual practice and spiritual training, is to move forward and everything, you know. And apart from that, there's just too much going on in Dublin. There's just way too much going on for us to get involved with.